Can you remember a time you failed? A time you were so close to your goal but it all came crashing down? We've all been there. But why does this happen? Why do we sometimes fail when we attempt to scale? Here's the secret. In order to grow your business and expand your mind, you need a controlled environment, like a plant growing in a greenhouse. It's my mission to help experts and entrepreneurs grow rapidly by leveraging outside resources and unlocking universal wisdom. But the question is, how will they do it? Join me on this epic journey as we monetize our passions, scale our businesses, and master eternal abundance. My name is Aaron Chiviterese, and this is the Growth Podcast.
This is the Growth Podcast. My name is Aaron Chiviterese, and I'm here with my guest today, Mark Atalla. He's an industry-leading private lender and author of the new book, Money Matters. Money Does Matter. Mark, welcome to Growth Podcast, man. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Aaron. I'm blessed to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pumped for this, man. Money does matter, and I like to talk to guys who understand money. So let's do it. Cool, man. So, Mark, you and I have been chatting just a little bit before we hopped on here, but you know, for the guys who don't know you quite as well as I do, tell us a little bit about yourself. You grow up, your family, a little bit of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up here in California, born and raised. Parents came here in the early 70s trying to chase that American dream. Father did okay for himself, built his own little mini empire, and I always kind of wanted to follow his footsteps and, you know, build a empire of my own if I could. And, started really with that entrepreneur mindset at a very, very young age, kind of seeing him go through everything that he went through, building everything that he was able to build. Went to college, graduated 07, got my company started, and have been doing lending really since I was 18 years old. And that's where I kind of took a little bit of a turn from what, the family business was to really just kind of trying to make, my own of, my own stamp per se versus, following the father footsteps. It was much easier for me. And I've been doing it ever since, man. It's been a long, bumpy road, and it's not as glamorous as it looks, I promise you. But it's been enjoyable, I'll be honest. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm curious to see kind of what the future holds for us here after this whole virus.
Yeah, absolutely. We all are. Hey, for those of you listening a little bit later in time and space, it's early May 2020, and it's the coronavirus pandemic. The world's closed down. Businesses are fucking going bankrupt, and things are happening that are just absolutely out of a movie, right? And here we are, entrepreneurs, watching our fellow entrepreneurs sink and go in the red and stuff, and it's heartbreaking to watch. But in these moments, you either contract or expand, right? So we're here doing our thing. The show must go on. The networking must go on, and you're working your ass off, I'm sure. Hey, Mark. So it's a crazy time.
Yeah,
hey,
I wish I got to enjoy this thing. You know what I mean? That's probably, like you and I were saying, it's nice to really kind of take the time off, enjoy the time with the family, slow down. But, unfortunately for us, fortunately and unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, we've been very busy with, a lot of the institutional sectors kind of really shutting down. And the private sector is really kind of the only sector that's held itself up somewhat, depending on what type of lender you are. We've been busy, and, we were trying to grow and take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
See what we can do.
Totally. Before the virus and stuff kicked in and the world totally flip-flopped and changed. I mean, looking back on your company and your history and stuff, I've been checking you guys out, just doing cool shit. I can see you're funding stuff in multi-million-dollar double digits. It's big money. It's big business. It's no joke, right? So I'm curious, from the standpoint of someone who's listening, who's like, oh yeah, that's cool, but I mean, how the hell do I lend out $20 million to somebody? Like, what does that even mean, right? Take us back a little bit when you kind of started on that journey, how that looked and some of the challenges you faced in really becoming who you are here today, who can, create these types of deals. Like, how did that look on the come up?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it wasn't glamorous, Aaron. It was not. I mean, you sit here and you see all the stuff on media or what have you. And listen, man, it's all, at the time, the first downturn happened in 2008, 2009. I was probably lending for, a couple years. I was young, 22 at the time, 23 maybe. The world was collapsing just like it is now, right? And all the institutional banks had shut their doors. I was out of a job. I didn't know what to do. I was young. I was still in college. And, we had relationships with certain family offices that were open to lending. And nobody was lending at the time, as I'm sure you remember, right? And that was kind of a niche that I had that, kind of separated me from everyone else in the business, right? And it was this whole world of private money that I knew nothing about, absolutely nothing. And, we closed a couple transactions, a couple deals here and there, and I began to kind of turn it into a little bit of a niche. And it's turned to, kind of what it has today. I just never really knew that was an opportunity at the time. I just kind of really fell into it, right? And then you start closing deal after deal after deal, referral after referral. You start really just kind of working a small operation, 1-2 man operation at best, really when we started. It was me and, a money manager that I had a very close family relationship with. And there were deals that came across the table that we really liked and some that we didn't, and we started executing what we could. And it really led to, a very strong type of referral for us. And, we got introduced to a lot of high profile deals over the course of years, just because of people hearing deals that we did close or certain high profile individuals it really just kind of trickled from there, to be honest. And I mean, it's 10 years in the making, man. It didn't happen yesterday like it looks like online, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's important for people to understand. Hey, when you look at people's, social media highlight reels, it's like, oh yeah, the dude's high rolling and, let's talk about you. You're here right now. Your Instagram's fire, straight up. It's awesome. It's Rolls's and it's yachts and high living, and it's awesome. You've earned it and you live that lifestyle. But people need to understand that the work that goes in behind it is where the action is. A lot of people think, oh yeah, if I get a Bentley and take a picture and like I'm rich now, right? It's the complete opposite of that. It's craziness. So people, there's a funny saying I see. I hear people say, and it rings totally true. Like, yeah, this overnight success, it's awesome. It only took 10 years.
It really did, though.
Right? Like, it was funny that way. Yeah. So you mentioned some,
and that's what people seem to forget. You know what I mean? They don't understand that. It takes a lot of hard work, man. I mean, listen, we failed. It was never always. We've had deals that went sour. We've had relationships that went sour, and you don't see that stuff. You know what I mean? You don't see any of the blood, sweat, and tears that we had to go through, right? You get 100 no's before you get one yes. It's how much are you okay with putting up with 100 no's, right?
Yeah, that's a lesson that you can learn from sales. Yeah,
yeah, and that's just life, Aaron. It's just, but people don't understand that for some reason. I don't know why.
Totally. Yeah, it's true. Maybe something that would help them. It helped me understand when I was learning sales. The more no's you get, the closer you are to a yes. So you can go into the day looking for no's. Like, yes, fuck, another no, yes. I'm that much closer to a yes, right?
You do, man. No, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I do the exact same thing.
You're like, I'm one step closer to that yes, only a couple more. Like the numbers speak. Every 6 is a yes. You know what I mean? Play the odds, play the numbers. If you look at it from that perspective.
And it's not just, it's I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's not just the, right? It's scrubbing through deals that you think are doable deals, right? You're like, hey, brokers tell me it's this. It sounds like it's really good. This, and this checks out. And then there's something they're not telling me that you find out 45 days down the road, closing deals in 2-3 weeks here, right? And you're like, motherfucker, you didn't think I was going to find out? So those are the no's that I'm talking about. It's not just a sale of, hey, do you want to buy this stuff? Yes or no, right? It's, man, it's fucking tedious. I'm not going to lie to you, man. It's draining. It's overwhelming at times, but that's what you have to go through to find those high profile deals that actually work. You know what I mean? Because I can't tell you how many high dollar amount deals that are out there, but are they doable? I'll tell you right now, 80% not doable. That's why they're calling you. You understand?
Yeah. That's
so
why they're calling you.
Being able to find that. Exactly. And that's why you got to be really, really diligent at finding all the hair up front.
Totally.
All of it, and making sure that, okay, we can make something out of it, right? I've been through a lot of that.
Yeah, I bet. So maybe for the listeners who aren't completely familiar with the different types of lending, I mean, you do private lending and we just said, they have to come to you, but that might've just gone right over someone's head real quick. Can you just explain what that means just a little bit? Like, why do they have to come to you? What is a private lender anyway?
We do a lot of loans that most banks won't do for whatever reason, whether it's higher leverage, whether it's higher risk, higher pricing. For us, we're investors and developers ourselves. If the deal makes sense, and we can make sense of it, we do the deal, right? Um, we get a lot of clientele who can go institutional that prefer not to because they'd rather not pay so much in taxes. They're not showing so much on their tax returns. Or they don't have enough, millions of dollars parked with their real private bank to go borrow very, very cheap money, right? So they come to, banks like us to where we see the opportunity, and I consider ourselves really kind of a much cheaper partner, right? Like, okay, we get what you're trying to do. You want to buy this thing, you want to fix it, you want to flip it, you need money to acquire it, you need money for the rehab, right? Okay, so here, this is what we do. Obviously, we'd rather work with people who have that proven track record, right? Granted, we will deal with individuals that don't have much experience with the pricing and setup of the deal is a little bit different. But those are all deals that most institutional banks wouldn't even be able to wrap their head around, let alone approve, right? And that's kind of been, a very good niche for us. We're really just a short-term bridge lender where a guy like Aaron finds a really good deal on a commercial building, and you want to buy it, you want to rehab it, you want to sell it one day, right? And in order to go through that process with your institutional bank, it's 45, 60 days, man. I mean, time kills all deals, right? The seller wants to sell. He's not, okay, cool, here's your pre-approval letter. And sometimes deals fall apart that they are fully qualified to go with their institutional lender, right? And, it takes them so much time to where they just call guys like us and they're able to execute much faster. So it's been a decent niche for us over the years. And I'm really curious and interested to see where it's going to go from here. Because I really do believe it is the future of banking.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking that. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking two things. I was thinking, one, I think it's the future of banking because it's more personalized, and it's the age of partnerships now, right? It's the age of partnerships and networking. Yeah. So absolutely. It's kind of obvious to me, like, a guy who knows a guy, you hook up and chat about it and you make a deal. Like, you can never communicate any easier than now, and people are understanding that. It's the age of networking. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, I think, after this crisis that the world's going through, I mean, the economy is going to take a shitter for sure. It can't not, in my opinion, right? It's on its way down. And all these people who unfortunately are upside down, they're going to be having to foreclose and let go of places and stuff. And people can, it's not evil to take advantage of these situations, because when someone contracts, someone else expands, there's going to be a ton of opportunity out there, is what I'm saying. A ton.
I agree with you. And listen, I agree with you. It is very, very unfortunate, right? But you don't want to prey on people going through tough times. It's unfortunate, the cards that we're dealt with, unfortunately. I've been on both sides of the spectrum. You know what I mean? And you just got to be smart enough to learn from your mistakes. I do agree with you. I think it is going to bring a lot of opportunity. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people are going to end up losing their homes, like it was very similar in 2008, 2009, 2010 downturn. Yeah. I mean, we have I think unemployment now is higher than it was back in the downturn. And I don't see how quickly that can rebound that fast.
I think it's the highest like it's ever been, or some crazy shit, like other than the Depression and stuff, like in modern times.
I don't know the exact figure, but I know it's mind blowing.
It's crazy. It's craziness. Yeah. It's crazy.
And back to your sense, I do the personalization. You don't get that with your banks. With your institutional bank, Aaron goes to Bank of America or Bank of whatever, and wants to get a loan for a property that he wants to fix up and flip it. It's not. You can't sell that dream to that person. You can't sell that vision, right? Because they don't understand it. It's like, okay, it has to fit our box. This is our box, Mr. Aaron. If it fits here, great. If it doesn't, good luck, right? You can't force, a square peg in a round hole, right? So, and that's, I agree with you there for sure, because it's way more of a personal experience. You can't automate that. You can't.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you're in the industry and you're all in on it and you're doing very well with it. So for sure. See, I guess a question I would have for you on your business side of things, do you do international or are you just in the States? How does that look?
We have different family offices that, invest with us internationally. We haven't done any deals internationally per se. We've been presented the opportunity, but international law gets very, very tricky, and we haven't gotten our hands on enough of it to really try to scale it. So no, we haven't. We've had the opportunity, of course, but for us, it's just, if we don't know it, it doesn't make sense, right? So I don't know. It's uncharted territory for us that I don't know if we're too comfortable expanding into yet.
Yeah.
But who knows? You never know what the future holds.
Yeah, that's a good lesson. If you don't know it, don't do it, right?
Yeah, no.
That's a really good lesson. It's one of those things. Entrepreneurs have the shiny ball syndrome in general, and it would be very easy for you to be like, oh, Greece collapsed. Let's go over there. Or, oh, over there, boom, there's shit's going down all over the place. Like, why not just go in there? Well, because we don't have the specialty in that at this moment yet. So we're just going to stay in our lane and focus, right? Focus is the word here for sure.
I agree. And
it's not to say you never will
grow.
Yeah. And it's not to say you won't in the future. It just means you know what you're doing now and you're focusing on what you know you can control and crush at the moment. Hey,
it's all about scalability, right?
It's all about scalability. I love it. I love it. So you mentioned big deals with influential people and obviously people that are flipping properties in the, 8-9 figure area are some pretty cool individuals. A lot of eccentric entrepreneurs, I'm sure. A lot of interesting personalities. Not to say any names or anything, of course, we're not going to go there, but do you have any, interesting experiences or anything that pops out in your mind that maybe would be fun to talk about?
As much as I want to share about that, I mean, we're called private money for a reason, right? If you and I did a transaction.
Oh, I see. That's a good lesson. That's a good lesson.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's been fun because you come across that you've seen and you know, right? So, they come across your desk or they come across your office or what have you, and you're like, oh, I know that guy, right? Or it's like, oh, okay, cool. This is cool that I'm doing the, and then you become friends with these people, and it's like, it's endearing, you know what I mean, to see your kind of career go from, a young kid just doing institutional loans, barely knowing what he was talking about at the time, 18 years old, to coming and doing this at the age of 35. It's, for me, it's very endearing, and it shows that the hard work is getting noticed because you're getting these as a referral. You're not getting these as, chasing these individuals around, right? These people come from different brokers, different money managers, or different people that have heard of deals that you've done, and you come highly recommended to them, right? So for me, it's been, a very endearing experience because I'm not gonna lie, man, a lot of these people, are mentors in the business that I'm able to work with. It's like, dude, I know who you are. You know what I mean? You're building an empire. That's the kind of empire that I want to build one day, right? And to be able to collaborate with these people, it's amazing, man. It really is endearing.
Yeah, cool, man. That's awesome.
I'm looking
that's
forward.
Awesome.
Yeah. And as much as I want to tell you about individual stories, it's
no. I don't want you to go there. That's why I was treading lightly. I just wanted to kind of get a feel for what it's like, because I'm very sure and I'm very certain in the realm that you're working, that you're dealing with some pretty high profile, pretty cool individuals. And I'm sure it would be a very cool experience, and also fulfilling in yourself to know that, okay, well, this is where I'm at now. And since you're doing a lot of referral based business, which is also an important lesson for people to understand, referrals are massive. Like it's the bread and butter of almost any business. If you can get referrals over trying to get a cold lead to come in, it's a night and day experience, right? So let's talk about referrals. Actually, do you have any referral sort of lessons or best practices that you want to share?
You do what you say. If you can, hang on one second.
Sure. Just signing some deals during the show. I love it. This is where it's at right here. This is real deal here. For those of you who can't see the video, he's just taking care of some business real quick as we're chatting. It's awesome.
I thought the door was locked.
No, I love it. This is perfect. I love it.
It's for me, we're quick to turn down deals, man. And that turns off a lot of people, right? But I know what we can execute on and I know what we can't. So you do what you say, you know what I mean? You're going to build a reputation for yourself giving a bunch of yeses when in reality it's a bunch of no's, right? No one's going to call you. You're not going to be able to no one's going to be happy with that service, right? So it's being able to look at something, knowing what you can help with, and truly executing on what you're saying you can do, right? It's just got to be a minute of your words. Very simple. And that's what I don't understand is, how's that so hard for people to get? You understand? It's just
totally
being a human 101, man. It's not hard. You know what I mean? And a lot of these people, they get their hands on these big profile deals. Oh, it's a great deal. You don't even understand the deal. Tell me, I can't tell you how many calls we get here a day, and sometimes I have the time and I pick up the phone out of curiosity, right? Who's calling? What do they got? I pick up the phone and, hey, can you do this or can you do that? Okay, well, can you tell me a little bit more about the deal? What do you know about it? And they know nothing. I'm like, okay, well, I can't tell you what I can do if you don't even know what you're trying to shop here. You know what I mean? So it's been a very big key to our success, and like I told you, it's unfortunate because I think we upset a lot of people by just giving very quick no's. But I'd rather be honest and give a quick no on something that I know is far-fetched or I know that we can't do, versus giving you a maybe or a yes and let me see what I can do, right? Because that let me see what I can do is going to turn into you wasting your time and wasting that borrower's time and wasting probably that broker's time. And you get nothing in return. So what's the point, right?
Mm. Yeah, perfect, man. So the two biggest takeaways I'm getting from you here are, number one, don't believe that it happens overnight. The shit takes work and grinding and effort, and it's a roller coaster up and down over time. Fuck ton. And the second thing is, be a man of your word or a woman of your word or a company of your word, and do what you know you can do, and don't overextend yourself just because you think maybe you could. Right?
Yeah, it's like find that one or two or six things for us really that you're really good at. Okay, here's the 6 programs that we know we can knock out of the park. Anything that fits out of this box, don't even take it as a maybe. It's call my friend Aaron. Here's his number. This is his specialty. That's what he does. I don't want a referral fee. Don't pay me anything. He comes highly referred. I know he can execute on what you need. I can't do it. Call him, right? And that goes a long way. You know what I mean? And to me, that's just simple business. It's not hard.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I wanted to reiterate on something before I was interrupted.
Sure.
You were asking me, what it's like to work with these high profile individuals and people. And aside from the fact that it is very endearing, it's very reminiscent, I want to say, of, I don't know if you've been watching this Jordan documentary. What's it called that's out right now? The Last Dance. Have you watched it all?
No.
You should watch it.
I've heard of it, but everyone keeps saying to watch it. Maybe I should.
No, it's amazing. And it really is amazing. And
I will.
It's like an 18-year-old Kobe Bryant coming into the league, right? This guy's eager. This guy's hungry. He's willing to try to crush anybody and anything in front of him. And he's going up the iconic, Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? How do you beat this guy, right? You figure out what his moves are. You learn everything that you can from him. You know what I mean? And you try to do it a little bit better. And that's what, for us as a company, for me as an individual, is what we're trying to do, right? Is you see this competition out there. You see this greater individual who's done these very high profile things, right? And you try to learn from that, and I guess that's kind of what we're doing here today too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's totally right, man. Surround yourself with people who have what you want, emulate it, put your own spin on it, be a man of your word, and understand that it takes effort and extended periods of time.
Very extended.
And if you do all of that, and you just, sign deals in the middle of shows because you're a busy rock star, if you can do all of that, you can be like Mark. You can be a jet-setting, and
you could be better too.
A jet-setting rock star. Yeah, I love it, man. It's awesome. It's inspiring, and it's also very grounding to hear guys like yourself talk this way, because I think it's super important, especially in today's age with social media and stuff being so crazy, with people just showing their highlight reels and stuff. People need to understand what it takes to create the highlight reel, right? The highlight reel is the highlight reel, but all those, we're talking
There's
about
no
Jordan.
shortcut to it, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we're talking about Jordan and basketball there, the right? How many shots and practices did they do to get the highlight reel for, winning the championship or whatever? Like, you see the picture of them with the trophy, but you don't see all the practices, right? Same as an entrepreneurship, man. The early mornings, the late nights, the travel, the phone calls, the no's, right?
Falling on your ass.
The falling on your ass, the digging yourself out of problems, right? All of it. It's all there, and people need to understand that it's not easy, but it's worth it, right? It's worth it if you want to live that sort of lifestyle that you choose rather than being put in a box. It's cool, man. I love it. So tell us a little bit about your book. You got this book out. I saw you co-wrote a book called Money Matters, which is awesome. Love the name. Money Matters. It's so sweet. So what's up with the book, man? It's on Amazon or what?
The book is on Amazon. Yeah, you can buy it.
Cool. What's it about?
It really just kind of highlights, ourselves as a company as lenders as to what we offer and what we can do. And it highlights a little bit of our journey. You know what I mean? It shows you all the ins and outs of the private lending sector and what you can take advantage of as an entrepreneur, understanding some of the programs that we can offer. So it's a short and sweet book, and I highly recommend it for anyone who's interested in doing what we're doing or leveraging what we're able to offer.
Yeah, both sides of the coin, right? People who are looking to be lenders, get into lending, or people that are being like, I want to develop, I want to flip buildings, do commercial. the various things that you do. I want a part of that so they can learn about you that way, right? And see what's
Yeah.
up.
And you'd be surprised as to how many people don't understand what private lending is.
Mm.
You would be very, very surprised, how many people call here a day and they're like, oh, I didn't even know this existed. I'm like, you've been the last 20 years as a broker, you know what I mean? But
Interesting.
it's, and that's why I think we're such a niche market. I really do believe that we are the future. I tell all our peers that in this business all the time, even our competitors, I tell them, I say, there's enough market share for all of us. And I wholeheartedly really do think that this is the future of banking.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I literally couldn't agree more. I've been saying that for years, and I'm not even in that space really. I'm a fan of it. I watch it. I play around with some stuff now and then that I won't get into here. But I totally agree, because it's the age of information is kind of past us now. Now it's the age of partnerships, and this is it. Like, why would you go to a big institution that's gonna, first of all, probably deny you, and second of all, if they bring you in, you have to conform, versus going to a partner like you who understands the dream and is actually like a partner in the business, right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Is that the way?
Absolutely. No, you nailed it right on the head. Yeah,
Exactly, man. It's cool, man. Well, that's awesome. I guess I got to ask you, what would you tell somebody who's possibly listening and they're like, I don't really know what this is so much, but I do know that I love, I understand real estate's a good investment, for example, or I want to flip commercial spaces or buildings, or I want to start buying parking garages or something, right? What would you tell that guy who's curious about it? They don't really know where to start. They don't have a whole lot of, or girl, sorry, person, human. They don't have a whole lot of leverage or experience, but they're looking to go that way. What would you tell that person?
If it's something that person is truly, truly passionate about, I think your biggest key is educating yourself, learning from all the people who have done it before you. You know what I mean? And who have done it very successfully, and learning from not just the success that they've had, but the failures that they've had. Because I think you can learn a lot more from the failures that they've had than the success that they've had, right? Because the success is like, okay, A, B, and C equals D if I follow it, right? You know what I mean? But there's a lot of that in between where things can fall apart that most people aren't aware of. And that comes with experience. So the only way you're going to learn that is through learning through others' experience, right? It's find these people and nitpick their brains, ask them a million questions. I remember when I used to meet a lot of my mentors, I would have a line of questions already ready for them to go. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to forget them. I thought each of them was just as important as the other. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, how do you do this? Or how do you do that? How can you do this? And how can we do that?
Mm.
And it's being able to leverage those people's hard work for yourselves. And I think that's the key to anyone's really success, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. 100%. I love it.
But it's got to be something that you don't want to give up on. You've got to be truly, truly passionate about it. It's one thing to be curious, and it's one thing to really, truly want to do it.
Yeah,
So
that'll get you out of
bed. Really want to do.
That'll get you out of bed in the morning when it's raining, right?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Or pick you up when you fail and you're like, shit, I got to go again.
Yeah.
Get back on that horse.
You got to understand that everyone has failed. Not everyone has succeeded without failing. I think that's where everyone gets discouraged, is when they fail that first time, that second time, that third time.
Yeah,
and absolutely. If you had all the time in the world, I couldn't tell you how many times I failed in my life.
Yeah, yeah, me neither.
Nobody sees that.
True. Yeah, and there's also this misconception of people comparing themselves to each other, like looking at your year 20, and the person's on year 2. They're like, oh, look at this guy, he's crushing. It's like, yeah, the dude's been doing it 2 decades. Like, think about all the shit he's gone through to get where he is now.
And everyone's journey is different.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for everyone to accept that for themselves. Like, I'm hard on myself. Like, man, I could have done this 5 years ago if I was much more organized. You know what I mean? If I was much more diligent. I do it to myself all the time, but that's how you keep yourself sharp. You don't use it as a tool to bring yourself down. You use it as a tool to encourage yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people get it confused.
I love that. That's great, man. Super wise. Yeah. Thanks for that. That's cool. Cool, man. Well, Mark, it's been a pleasure, man. I could talk money all day, but
likewise,
I want to let you get back to you. I want to let you get back to your deals there, So, for the listeners here, curious about finding you, checking you out, grabbing your book, finding you on Instagram or various social channels, where can they go check you out,
Mark? My email is mark, M-A-R-K, at Carlyle Cap, CARLYLECAP.com. The book is on Amazon. I think if you just Google, or if you search my name, it'll pop up on there as an author. You can buy it there. Instagram is at Trademark Mark.
Yeah, I'd go to his Instagram and check that out.
It's not as glamorous as Aaron's telling you.
Oh, come on. Let's get real. It's inspiring stuff, man. I love it. That's the kind of shit that I like to look at because it's inspiring. Like, it's like, yeah, man, work hard, play hard. This is awesome.
And that's the whole goal behind all that, right? It's not to show you all this cool shit. It's anybody can have some cool shit, right? The idea is to inspire you and show you the journey, right? It's like,
yeah,
cool. This is what happened, and this is how it happened. You know what I mean? And you can do it too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we aspire to inspire, man, or else what are we trying to do here?
Exactly. I love it,
I'm not
man.
here to try to throw anything in your face,
I love it.
And there's guys out there that have made 10 times more.
Yeah, that's it, man. Everybody's on their journey. It's awesome. Mark, man, it's been a pleasure, bro. I love it.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for your time, and I hope we get the chance to talk again soon, man.
Absolutely, man. Next time you come over to Italy, we'll have to have a cigar.
Yeah, no, for sure we will, and hopefully soon.
Yeah, man.
I hope so. I miss it, man. That was, that's been our last 3 summers over there, and it's not going to happen this summer, unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe next summer. We're going to be heading back to Rome here in probably a month or two, and we'll let you know how it is. I'll give you an update.
Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it, and I hope you get back to good health, and everything turns back to normal for all of us here soon.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, we'll just keep on working, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. There's nothing else to do.
That's right, man. All right. Well, thanks for being a guest on the Growth Podcast, man. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate it, man. I hope to talk to you soon.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. By the way, there's some people who want to build an online business, but sometimes are scared of scams or who to trust, or they begin and they just get lost in the daily task with no blueprint to follow, right? And because of that, they never get started and just end up staying in the same position year after year because time flies, So if you're thinking to yourself, there must be a way to create a predictable, stable income online, but you don't know where to start, I've got something you might enjoy. Head over to www.bjkugrowth.com. Watch a quick interview I had with my buddy. He's an 8-figure earner. His name is Bashar, and he gets into how he grew into a successful online entrepreneur and how he now is helping thousands of others do the same. You're gonna love it. I've seen so many lives changed just learning this valuable information from him. So it might just be what you're looking for, So go over to www.bjkugrowth.com. I'll see you there. And thanks again for tuning in and supporting the Growth Podcast.